here. I'm not able to see the soul, but I can say there is soul in my heart, which is transmitting this consciousness everywhere
Okay.
in the body. Okay, that is consciousness.
So in that chariot example that we use in the beginning,
Yeah,
where does consciousness feature? We never spoke about it before.
yeah. So in the chariot, everything is functioning through the consciousness. So we have senses which are moving.
Yep.
Then we have the intelligence, which is
The,
controlling the mind,
the
which is
reins.
holding the
Yes.
mind, the veins. So everything is flowing through, everyone is functioning through the soul, who is the sitting in the
Yeah.
chariot at the back. So
Yeah.
soul is exhibiting, it is actually emanating all the consciousness so that everything functions.
Okay. Okay.
Like you can say that the person who's sitting at the back, who's the soul, who's the driver, not the driver, I would
No.
say
Yeah.
the pillion, the sitting at the back,
Yeah.
the person who's sitting. So he is the soul in the chariot example. He is telling everyone to do. So he's telling the charioteer to do something. So he's doing something to move here, move there. So he's directing. Along with that, he's providing the energy
Hmm.
to actually function. That's the function of the soul.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Understood, everyone? What is consciousness? What is the Sanskrit word of consciousness?
Chetana.
Chetana. Very good. Okay. So now, since you have understood what is consciousness, there are four different types of consciousness, which we are always in different. We'll discuss three, and then I will come to the fourth. The first type is Jagruti. The first type of consciousness, Jagruti, active. Okay, like we are now at the moment. Open eyes, we can see we are active. Yeah, but we are active now at the moment. Our consciousness is here. But as soon as this Bhagavad Gita gets over, we might start some other activity, and we are active there. So we forget what was happening before, and we are there, right? So we are in a different consciousness, though we are Jagruti, active, but something else. So this consciousness, or we can say soul, which is it can be hooked on to various things. Being in Jagruti, we can be hooked on to. So now after finishing this session, say for example, you go and watch a Bollywood movie. So you will forget this and you will be hooked on to that. Okay. Then this goes, when you go tomorrow to your office, you forgot the movie, you forgot the Bhagavad Gita, now you're working, your consciousness is hooked on to that. So this is what happens with us. Okay. Jagruti. Jagrat. So consciousness being hooked to. Jagrat consciousness. The next stage is Swapna. Swapna. So when you sleep, so it's a passive consciousness. It's not Jagruti. You're not Jagruk. You are passive, but you're still dreaming. Swapna. So it's not fully sleep. Don't think that when you're dreaming, it's a deep sleep. It is not deep sleep. It is a disturbed sleep if you get dreams. All right. So deep sleep is different to dreaming sleep. The dreaming sleep is Swapna. So what you see in the Swapna is actually real for you. Correct. So say for example, someone is sleeping. Yeah. And he is in a sleep, he's a king and going for a war. So he's actually king for a war at that point. Correct. Correct. Forgetting about his real. So some people are into Swapna quite a bit. Yeah. The daydreamers also. So they are in the swapna avastha, not in the real thing, but they are in somewhere else. So he may be a king even by when his eyes are open, thinking that he is still in the dream. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Swapna is a different thing. So third one is sushukti, sushukti, which is deep sleep. So that is the sleep which is without dreams. That is called sound sleep. Sushukti. And sushukti is what we should try and get, which is actually the sleep. Sushukti. Sleep without dreams. So what
Hmm.
is active in Jagruti?
Mind,
Okay. What else?
senses also.
Very nice. Good. So the senses and mind both are active. The body, senses, which is senses, and the mind, they both are active in Jagruti. What is active in Swapna?
Mind only.
Mind only. Very nice. Can someone else also try? So only Rishi is answering all the questions. Is it my observation? Is it correct? No one else is answering the questions. Is Rishi the only one who's reading Bhagavad Gita? Am I hearing that? Please read Bhagavad Gita and keep answering. Anyone else? What is the active thing in the next? So where is the mind active? Which state? Yes?
Mind is active in every state,
Okay.
means Jagrut or Swapna. Mind is active. In Jagrut state, the senses as well as the mind. In Swapna, it is mind which is active.
Very nice.
Also to an extent, like in Arjun's case, some senses are active sometimes.
So, Sushupti is deep sleep. So that is because Arjun was never sleeping in Sushupti.
Yeah.
So Sushupti is when you are in deep sleep. Your senses and your mind both are not working. Generally, that sleep is around 3 to 5 a.m. Generally, in our case, in Kali Yuga. In a Yuga, if ideally you should be in Sushupti from at least 10:30 or 10 p.m. at night, 10:30 p.m. in the night till 4 a.m. in the morning. If you sleep that as Sushupti without dreams, deep sleep, if you're able to sleep 6 hours, 10 to 4, you will not have any problems in terms of mind or having issues with. Are you able to hear me? So
Yes.
I having any issues with sleep disorders or anything. If you are able to achieve that throughout, then your body remains very yukta ahara, yukta vihara. So, yukta swapna vibodhasya. So when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that your mind also should be active for a limited amount of time. Apart from that, you should be deep sleeping.
Is that what scientists call the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep?
I don't
They
know
we call
about
it.
that. I don't
Okay,
know.
fine.
Yeah.
But they
So
say
is
three
it
to
where the
five.
mind is active?
No, they say 3 to 5 a.m. That is the deep sleep. You
Deep
don't have
sleep.
any dreams
Ideally,
and
yeah.
you have a
But some
rapid eye
people
movement.
sleep at 3 a.m. Then so they
Yes.
will be still in that what they call swapna for till 5 a.m. And then they sleep at 5 a.m. and they wake up at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, 11 a.m. in the morning. Something around that. And that is I don't know when there is deep sleep because very hard to sleep during the sun is up. Anyway, so come back to that. So try and get sushupti is the idea if you want a healthy lifestyle. Sushupti is when there is no dreams. The mind is also resting. Sushupti. So these three states where the consciousness is. Now, what happened? I like to tell this story many times because we don't know when we are in a dream, right? Because when we are real, also, you see, we keep forgetting what we did. Yeah, because the consciousness gets hooked on to various things and we forget the previous thing. So there was a king who was trying to, find out what consciousness is he in. So what he was a king when he was dealing with, in his world, his material world. And when he used to go to sleep every night, he used to dream that he's a butterfly sucking out nectar from every flower. All right. So this is, and he used to sleep quite a bit, like 12 to 14 hours. He used to sleep nicely. He'll sleep from 7 p.m. in the evening till 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning next day. Possible. So he was also same time of, he was in that sleep, Jagruti and Swapna, identical, maybe more in Swapna. So over a period of time, he started finding that he was a butterfly. He started finding himself as a butterfly, then of a king. So it overpowered him. So he was in a very confused state of mind. So one night, he called all his ministers. He said, I want to have a meeting. He called his ministers and he said that I want a suggestion from all of you, and not a suggestion, I want a solution from all of you. That whether I'm a king or whether I'm a butterfly, I'm confused. You have to give me the answer. Otherwise, if you're not able to give my answer correctly and not able to convince me, I'll chop off your head with my sword. So now I'll put this question to all of you. That who was he? Was he a butterfly or was he a king? The sword is hanging. Come on, start answering. Yes. What should be the answer if you were a minister?
He's neither a butterfly, he's neither a king,
Very
or
good. So what is he?
he's lost.
Ah, so if the minister tells that answer to king, what will he do? The sword is in his hand. What if we were the ministers to the king? What should we answer him? Aditi,
I would
what
have said the king.
the king? Okay,
I
but he
would have
feels
said him.
he's a butterfly. He says I'm more like a butterfly.
Shows how
Who?
you fly.
Hmm?
You can ask him, shows how you fly.
Okay, yeah, but he feels that he's a butterfly. So what would the minister answer?
I would say that you are a sleeping butterfly in the mornings and a sleeping king in the nights.
So he's both.
Either ways, he's going to chop off the head.
Yeah. So the identification will be the next question. If someone tells him that you are neither of these two, then who am I? Right? What consciousness should I be in? That is where the fourth type of consciousness comes in. It is called the Turiya consciousness or the Samadhi, where the consciousness which is actually coming out or emanating from the soul, where the soul is fully self-realized and understands that he is the soul, not this body or this mind who thinks that he's a butterfly or thinks that he's a body or a king. He identifies itself that it's a soul, he's a soul, and a soul who is actually the servant or the subservient of the Paramatma or the Krishna, and understands his body, understands he's not the body and he's a soul, and identifies himself as a soul. that consciousness, that fourth type is called the perfect or the actual identification of that living entity and the perfect consciousness, samadhi. So we should try reaching onto that consciousness. That should be the goal. And that is where there is complete bliss, there is complete happiness, and there is no imagination there. It's real. And the way Srila Prabhupada explains that someone can actually reach that consciousness, turiya or samadhi, is by chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So people argue that why only this Maha Mantra you want to chant? We can chant something else. So maybe you can chant something else. You can chant Coca-Cola, you can chant Thumbs Up, or chant whatever you like, but you may not be able to chant other words for that long to reach the state of samadhi. You will give up. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is such that if you keep on chanting for hours and hours, you will not have any problems. In fact, if you are indulged in that, you may reach a consciousness which is samadhi. So, apart from reading Bhagavad Gita, if you want to progress further from here, you may have to introduce chanting in your routine. That will help you understand what Krishna is speaking about with experience, not just words. So, if anyone needs chanting beads, I think Kalpesh has them. Kalpesh, you have a few chanting beads with you?
No, just one.
Okay.
But
So, you can
anybody is in Sydney, they can go to the North Sydney temple.
temple and get that. Yeah. So, he can guide where you can get the chanting beads from. Or if you're in India, you can find out your nearest temple and ask for chanting beads, japa beads. And if you are eating meat, or if you are eating or having alcohol, try not to touch the tulsi beads for chanting. There are other beads also, wooden beads also. Try to chant on them. Now, when you chant, you come to the right consciousness. What helps is that your what do you eat? What do you drink? That helps your consciousness come to the right state. The reason why I say this, that when we eat anything for that matter, they also have consciousness. Say, for example, you have some chicken, you have some lamb or whatever. So when that animal was cut, that consciousness where it left at when dying, that is transferred over through the blood of that animal to other people also, because he was in an active state. They have meat where they don't kill the animal completely. Okay, so there is consciousness in there when it was cut, so that remains. So that consciousness can transfer to you. So that is the understanding why, you know, there is this kind of thing when you eat this kind of food. What happens internally is the consciousness is so you may be, so it's not that you, I'm not saying that you change your diet or anything, but this is the knowledge or understanding. So what happens with how the consciousness is transferred. So when we are trying to get into a consciousness of samadhi, giving, eating the right kind of food, eating the right kind of things, doing the right kind of things will help you improve the consciousness into that state. which is Turiya or Samadhi. That is 2.17. Krishna speaks about the consciousness. We'll read that in detail, the purport and everything about the soul, how big is the soul, and how big is Paramatma, which is residing right next to the soul. That we will discuss in our next class. Okay, so we'll end our discussion here. Any questions or comments you may ask? Any comments or questions?
So 2.17, what's the crux of this verse is probably what I'm trying to
The
figure out.
crux is consciousness. So there is consciousness which pervades throughout the body, and that nobody can destroy that. It is indestructible. So is the soul. The soul and the consciousness are indestructible. The consciousness flows throughout the body. So when the soul leaves the body, the consciousness is gone along with the soul.
Yeah.
And it is dormant for some time, and when it takes another body, it starts emanating into another body. So into the womb of the mother, it starts emanating. It's dormant for some time. Then from the 7th month, like if it's a human body, from the 7th month, when the baby is 7 months old, the consciousness starts spreading throughout the body. And that's when the baby starts feeling all kind of things. So there are germs inside, there is spicy food which is hitting that kid with a child, all those things, and he starts getting troubled. Birth is a very troublesome process, let me tell you. It's a very troublesome process for the child and the mother. So it's very agitating for the child to go through that pain which happens inside that. The consciousness starts develop, because once the consciousness is there, he starts feeling the pain. That's fully developed in the 7th month. But the Maya is such that he is irritated and kicks inside, but the parents are happy seeing the kick. You see, that is called perception, Kalpesh. So perception from the child side, where he's irritated inside the mother's womb, irritated, trying to kick, but the parents are happy that he's kicking. So see the difference of perception. It is just imagination. Same thing, same event, same process, but one for something, pain for someone, pleasure for another. Sad but true. That is why it is called Maya. That which is not is called Maya. Does it answer your question, Rishi?
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other question or comment? Okay. If no, we will catch up next Sunday. Till then, please read, and if possible, please chant. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.